All right, if you're suffering from shoulder impingement, shoulder pain, biceps tendonitis, this video is for you. Feel free at any time to go directly to the exercises, or if you want, hang out and understand the why behind the how. My movement, mobility, strength, lifestyle, and flexibility, chronic pain concept applies to the entire body. Understand this, not only will your shoulder pain go away, but everything else will too, and it's much easier than you think. And please make sure to at least skip or stay to the bonus where you can learn how to connect your shoulders with your spine and understand that there's no isolated movement in our life. Everything is connected together. So the why behind your shoulder pain is actually quite simple, but we need to understand a little bit of anatomy and what's going on. So we have the shoulder girdle, which makes up basically the humerus, your arm bone, and your shoulder blade and your ribs. Through this, we need to understand the root, in my opinion, of the issue is often that the shoulder blade is being, I would say, locked down from the rhomboids. Now, these muscles, the rhomboids, connect your spine to your shoulder blade. The issue here is when we're sitting all day or we're in a sedentary position, i.e. a bus, a car, a plane, a desk, a chair, whatever. We're no longer moving like we need to move, and we know that when we don't move, the blood circulation slows down. When the blood circulation slows down, so does the hydration to the tissue. The tissue starts getting adhesive or sticky, and then it starts not sliding and gliding like it should, and it gets stuck together and it moves less. So my opinion within this injury is that it's actually starting from the rhomboids becoming locked down, tacked down, not allowing the shoulder blade to move. And when the shoulder blade needs to start to move like this, we know around 40 to 60 degrees, if you will, that the shoulder blade needs to move with it. The thing is, if the shoulder blade does not move, your arm will continue to move. So most likely, that is causing a issue where the bone is basically hitting the roof of your shoulder, the acromion process. And this would cause a pinching sensation, which is, I believe, where the word impingement comes from. Now, the issue with impingement is often it started from the rhomboids in the back, which we already discussed, so it's not surprising that there might be some trigger points in pain there. But then as it starts to pinch under the shoulder blade or under the acromion process, there you have your long head of your biceps tendon. So it does not surprise me when the bicep tendon starts to hurt, but you also have the supraspinatus that runs down, and that it could also in this process start getting pinched. So the idea that you can't point into one area where the pain is totally makes sense, because there's not one area, where the trigger points are. You've got your supraspinatus, the long head of your bicep, and your rhomboids, and then you also have radiating pain. So that means if it shoots down your bicep or if it's generally in your shoulder, that makes complete sense, because you've got 3 areas minimum that are irritated, and those 3 areas can also radiate pain to different places. So understanding why your shoulder hurts is quite simple. That is the why, the etiology behind it, so to speak. But now we need to understand what to do so we can fix the problem so it goes away. All right, so from something like an inchworm to a push-up, to something known as like the lizard walk, where we would walk forward in a position like this, and or as we were children, the simple crab walk, and sometimes even the tricep dip to the exercise where we kick up like this. The question is, shouldn't this also fire the rotator cuff? I mean, if we're working on the major movers, the prime muscles, the deltoid, the chest, the lats, the rhomboids, if you will, in the back of the shoulder, sure, of course, that's going to use the major muscles, but what about the underlying muscles, the rotator cuff? So the million-dollar question really is, what did people do back in the day? And my answer to that is they just moved. So now we have the empty can exercise, and like I said before, this exercise right here is one of those isolation muscles or exercises for the supraspinatus. So why I'm not a huge fan of this one, it's not wrong. So if you want to start with this, and also you can do this everywhere, in the grocery store, at work, wherever, then you can do this just to activate your shoulders and also test your supraspinatus. Now, what am I doing and why do I have these 2 cans in my hand? Simple. The supraspinatus muscle and the empty can is simple. We call the can empty, or the exercise the empty can, because we're turning over a can. Now, we want to be in the plane of scaption, so that might be a little confusing for some. So 0 degrees would be here. 90 degrees would be here. Scaption is around 30 degrees. Now, we don't need to be mathematicians here because A, anything close is good, and B, you will realize that your thumbs, or the top of these cans, often hit your quads when you stay in this diagonal straight line. Now, I like to do this in front of a mirror, or have my clients do it in front of a mirror, because often they end up hiking their shoulders. That's not what we want, and we also don't want it fast. We need this small muscle, the supraspinatus, to be recruited and turned on. So I want you to go nice and slow up and nice and slow down. Now, because we want to work on this endurance of the muscle, so we want to go into the time under tension, what I'm going to do now is go from the 30 degrees of scaption, let's say 10, 15 times, and when my arm starts to get tired, now I go to 0 degrees. So that does not mean I'm flying back like a bird. What that means is I'm coming up it at 0 degrees, if you will, and then back down, and I go behind, I can see it in the back camera, I'm not sure, and I touch my thumbs, or these bottles, if you want to call it together. So you don't need a Rituals soap and I think suntan lotion. Water bottles are perfect. And the nice thing with water bottles is if you need to, you can just drink a little bit of water and make them lighter. So, and as your shoulders start to burn, you can set them down, because most likely you're going to feel kind of, in general, just your shoulder burning, but maybe also a little bit in the back end. And from here, I can literally just continue. So if I had the bottles in my hand and I was going to do 15 and I was on set, number 11 and it started to burn, I just set them down and I continue. And the goal for the time under tension is not to take a break between the two exercises. So if you want to do 15, go to 15 and then directly go into 15 here. This is a great exercise to not only strengthen the supraspinatus and the other muscles involved, but also activate your nervous system, reminding it that it should be using the rotator cuff for everything you do in life, because when your rotator cuff is activated, then you don't need these funny looking exercises in order to activate the muscle. All right, so before I lie down on the foam roll, I want to show you kind of exactly where I'm going to place it. You can obviously place it wherever you want, that's fine. However, I'm going to work on my left shoulder, so I want to be a little bit more specific. I've kind of got one hand here. So you see, I basically set the foam roll on the left side of my shoulder, on the left side of my body, if you will, where the tip of the foam roller is against my breastbone. Like I said, there's no wrong way to do this. This just makes it a little bit more specific and helpful so we can get the correct area. So what I'm going to do now, we've got the dual camera angle here, and I've got my shirt off so you can see me a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lean on the roll just like I showed you. So I'm over my shoulder and also on my chest area. And from here, I just start rolling. Now notice my arm is not up. I want my arm to be dead, so to speak, because if I'm trying to massage you, I don't need you to contract your muscle and fight against me. So right now, I'm dragging my hand across the mat, if you will, so there's no tension in my arm, and my palm is up. This allows me to go into my chest a little bit, but also I can turn my body and go a little bit more into the shoulder and the deltoid area. Now I can turn my thumb down, which is rotating my entire arm, as you see, and I can go a little bit right into that AC joint, so the acromioclavicular joint, kind of where a lot of times that the joint gets a bit stuck, in my opinion, from our lack of movement from the sitting and the driving, and basically just keeping our arm always in the same small stagnant range of motion of flexibility due to life. So this is a nice way to kind of grind this area up, but I can also then, make sure I stay in both cameras here, go a little bit deeper and start going into my biceps. So you can see here, it's going a little bit deeper. I personally like, let's see, I started with this one, right? Palm down, there we go, palm down, and I'm going to scoot back just a little bit. And what I love doing here is going also again into the chest. Man, I can really feel this into my bicep right now. And I can even go deeper here. I'm just making sure I've got a little camera here that I can make sure that this other one is still on. I can go very deep into my bicep on this one. So what is really nice with this is everybody has the same genetics, but every body is a little bit different, right? So it's going to depend on where your pain, tightness, fascial issues are, where you might feel this the most. You might feel it the most in position number 1, number 2, or number 3. The point is for you to find those areas that are a little bit like hot spots, work on those areas, because that's going to loosen up the tissue. That's going to get rid of some of this adhesive tissue, if you will, scar tissue, and that's going to allow your shoulder to move better. And through your shoulder moving better, that means your flexibility, your exercises I'm going to show you later are going to be easier because your overall movement in your joints is just easier when you've got less fascial restrictions holding them back. So this is one of my favorite bicep stretches because it's very simple to do. All I do is get in the tricep dip position, so you can see my fingers are forward, they're not turned around, and I sit into this position. So this is not a tricep dip exercise. I am sinking into this position. The nice thing about this is obviously I'm on my knees. If you have a couch, you can sit on your bum. If you have a desk, you can stand up. You can literally do this anywhere. While I am doing this, as I always say, every body is the same, but not everybody is the same. So genetically, we're going to all have the same issues going on, but it might be caused by something else. And what I mean by that is I sit into the stretch. I like to call this a positional stretch because I'm stretching a position, not a single muscle. Some of us might feel this here, where actually our serratus anterior is, which connects from the rib to the inside of the shoulder blade. It often gets blamed for the scapular winging, which is a different story. I'll do a different video about that. Or you might feel more in the anterior portion of your shoulder, which is where your deltoids and your long head of your bicep go. Either way, we want to, no pun intended, lean into this stretch and really just feel the area open up. We can kind of go to the left, we can go to the right, and most importantly, I don't want us broken in this position. I want you to try to elongate your spine, so get as straight as you can, also with your head, because that's also part of your spine, and just really try to sink in and get some space in between your vertebrae by really stretching your spine straight. From here, we can, like I said, move a little bit to the left, so I'm kind of bending myself. I can turn to this camera, I could turn to that camera. I can even, if I want a bit of a break, go into one arm like this and just see how it feels as I stretch one side, because then we can compare it to the other side and we can see if we have a imbalance between the two. So the bonus is we need to teach you how to move like a salsa dancer. And this is actually quite simple because it's not coming from your shoulders, now it's coming from your chest and your rib cage. And what I mean by that is, remember I spoke about how our body moves in a kinetic chain. Well, let's start with the beginning of the exercise, where I'll use this one because we have both cameras. I want to see, can you take your shoulder and can you just roll it back? Because what you're going to realize is you might start just with your shoulder, but then as you start doing it, it's more of your shoulder, chest, and rib cage that are completely moving back. And once you get a little bit better at that, you can actually not even initiate the movement from your shoulder, you can initiate the movement from the rib cage. So I'm literally moving more of my chest here, and now I can accentuate it by also using my shoulder. It's not like my shoulder is dead and it's only here, but I want to see, are you able to get that greater range of motion? So if it was just my shoulder, you would see this, but luckily with my tattoo, you can see everything moving. And then can you do it with the other side? So can you get both shoulders to rotate from forward to back, and you can also try from back to forward if you want, and then go ahead and continue like that. Can you do one at a time? Back to forward is what we're doing now, and then let's say forward to back. And as you do it, if you want to take it to the next level, so let's go both shoulders back, see if you're able to, one, start just with the shoulders like this, but then try to initiate the movement from here, right where I'm pointing. So a lot of times, a lot of our salsa teachers would say to wear like a necklace and have like a pennant there, because the pennant should move first. So now I can not even move my shoulders technically, so I'm not trying to actively move my shoulders. I'm literally just trying to rotate from my rib cage, and you realize that my shoulders are moving themselves. Now, I'm able to do both. Now I activate my shoulders too, and I'm able to move in this position where each shoulder goes back. This is how our body moves. Think about when you start like a lawnmower. If you take the lawnmower, you pull it with your entire body, but often in the gym, we're just doing an exercise where we have this stabilization in this unnatural movement, and then we start the lawnmower and we throw our back out and we don't know why. Because the body moves in a kinetic chain. Now actually this is a different exercise, sorry. First one I was going back and back and back, and now here if you initiate directly from the ribs, one will go back as the other one goes forward. Now this gets a little bit complicated, sure, but this is very fun to play with because this is going to activate your thoracic spine, so your spine within the middle where your chest is. It's going to activate your rib cage, which connects to your thoracic spine, and it's going to get your shoulders to also move. So when I'm able to move my entire body, my shoulders have less responsibility within the movement, therefore I'm using them less, therefore they're not going to be overused, and often these injuries are overuse injuries. So if we learn how to move correctly, so we have the one that we learn like this, one at a time, both at a time, moving more from the rib cage, and then the final one, that's correct, moving more from the rib cage, or the other one, which is where we inverse it and we do this just like that. So that's your extra credit. See if you can do it. Comment below, share it with a friend, and do these at work and show them to your friends because they're a good time, and we may as well fix everybody because everyone has pain. All right, so that's it. It's that simple. Do those exercises, your shoulder will get better. I know because it made my shoulder better and all of my clients. It's that simple, it's not difficult. And finally, thank you for taking the time to watch this video, to trust me with your shoulder pain. And if you have not checked out my Unbreakable Body program yet, please do so now. This entire shoulder program is there. It's fixing all of my clients, hundreds of people, and why should it not fix you at the same time? And you get a weekly coaching call with me. I'm not some influencer, just have some exercises that fixes a few people and then I cross my fingers and hope it works. No, these exercises work, and when they don't work, jump on a call with me and tell me what is going on and I can answer your specific questions. It is that simple, but in order to get rid of your pain, you have to trust the process and take the first step by logging in to my program and doing the first 7 days for free.